Good morning, friends. You're tuned to Car Connection, where the coffee's strong, the stories are real, and the wrenches never stop turning. I'm your host, Niall Motormouth Jenkins, coming to you from the Car Connection Workshop, where the smell of fresh oil, little elbow grease, is all part of a balanced breakfast. Around here, we don't just talk cars, we live them. Whether it's a 25-year-old Jeep Wrangler getting a second chance at life, or a Nissan Rogue getting its brakes back in order, or a mystery leak that's got everyone scratching their heads, this is where we roll up our sleeves and get it done with a little wit, a little wisdom, and a whole lot of fun. The Car Connection isn't just about nuts, bolts, and diagnostics. It's about connection. Connection to our vehicles, to the people who drive them, and to the community that keeps Niagara rolling. Because when you fix a car, you're not just turning a wrench. You're restoring someone's confidence, freedom, and maybe even their sanity. We're here every week, Monday through Saturday morning with the Motormouth Morning Drive at 8 a.m., helping you keep your ride safe, reliable, and ready for whatever road lies ahead. So whether you're a weekend renter, a daily commuter, or someone who just wants to understand what that strange rattle really means, welcome aboard, friends. Stick around for shop talk, expert advice, a few good laughs, and maybe a story or two. Yeah, I always tell the long story because, short stories just, a short story told longer is better than a long story told shorter. That's what I know. Well, good morning to you, and thank you for inviting us into your world. Welcome to our own Car Connection world. You'll never be the same, but that's okay. We still love you anyways. All right. We got a ton of stuff to get through. If you're just zippity-doing through the drive-through, double check your order. Lock that beverage down your cup holder. We don't want any swoosh, if you know what I'm saying. I've experienced that. It's kind of like, no. Then you got to get back in line and deal with that mess later. Yeah. I had that happen last year. I thought it was in the cup holder. But you know what thought did? Thought he had, but he hadn't. I'm turning out of the drive-thru in a super large cold beverage that's going to make the car mat so sticky you'll never get it off the carpet, tipped right over. And yes, the lid, gone. Yep. Lesson learned. Well, hand Skippy, your sidecar passenger, the 16-pack Crayola crayons, the folded-up leaf bag, looks like a laptop. Tell them that it is. They'll probably believe you until they get enough coffee in their system. And let's start our program quickly with a morning swiggy. So whatever your favorite beverage is, keep one eye on the road, one eye on your driving partner, and the other guy. We all know who that is, right? On 3, 2, 1, raise your favorite morning beverage and let's start our day together. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Yep, that works. We're going to need a couple of those today. Absolutely. Well, the snow continues. We had a couple of major streamers yesterday come through late afternoon and put down just a couple more inches, just to, kind of let you know we're not done yet. Yeah, we're not done yet here. So let's see what we got going on today. Let's have a looky-see. Where are we at? Where you at? Here we go. Partly cloudy conditions expected around 10 a.m. The lowest feels like temperature will be -8 around 7 a.m. And let's go into some further details, see if we can get some. Here we go. Precipitation totals. It's 6 degrees now and mostly clear. Wind is making it feel colder, about -8 degrees. Partly cloudy conditions from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. with mostly cloudy conditions expected at 11 a.m. this morning. Today's temperature range will be from 5 degrees to 14 degrees. And yeah, cold. It's going to continue to be cold. So today, overnight low will be 5 degrees and the daytime high, ready for it? Can I get a big woot woot? 14 degrees. Wow. And I have a 0 on the precipitation and snow possibly 0.3 of an inch. And let me tell you, on the South Shores of Lake Erie, that's a lie. That can happen in just one swoosh. Anyhow, what are we talking about this morning? I knew you'd ask. I got it already. Dealer maintenance schedules. Helpful or overkill? I have a lot of experience with that. So we're going to unpack that. But first of all, I want to say thank you to Niagara Block at 5000 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls, for making this podcast possible. Built in Canada since 1931. I've seen pictures. You would never recognize Niagara Falls in the black and white pictures. It's crazy good. So they've been building Canada since 1931, supplying building supplies and hardscape landscape materials so that you can create that backyard oasis that you've always wanted. They can also line you up with contractors that you can trust to start the job, finish the job, and you're going to fall in love with that special space in your backyard. I know I do. I'm looking forward to a warm spring and not a wet spring this year, like the rain just kept coming until the end of June. It's nice when we have a nice warm breeze in the spring and you can hang out in that special space. So check in with them on our website. Again, our website, carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com. Everything we talk about, whether it's on our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, Stevensvilleontheweb.ca. Click on the businesses tab. They've made us a really beautiful business profile page there. Thank you to Skippy, our videographer, that has created something very special for the businesses and the people of Stevensville, because they are people. Bump, ba-dum, bump, bump. That's what I heard. So everything we talk about lives at our website for you to connect with us, and it's the biggest drawer in our toolbox. So on the home page, when you get there, the short version is ccbusnet.com. That's the shortest we could get because a guy wanted to sell CCBN to me for like $3,000, and I said, have a donut and a coffee, and when you wake up from your dream, maybe we can work something out. Never happened. So ccbusnet is the shortest I could get after 31 years. So on our homepage, you'll find all the links, logos for our program partners, recommended businesses, and our sponsors. Number 2, top right-hand corner is where all the links are, all set up for you. Our webmaster's all over it, like a dog on a donut. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, iHeartRadio, Stevensvilleontheweb.ca, and our merch store. Purpose of our merch store isn't to sell a ton of gear and stuff the money in our wallets. That's not what Car Connection has been in about for 31 years, is what can we do through the sale of the merchandise to help someone else? That's what it's all about. Pay it forward. That's what it's all about. Do you need it all or just some? So when you buy merch, and we have the official first ever Car Connection coffee mug. I'm still waiting for mine to get here. I think I'm going to have to call Russell and say, yo, dude, I can't be drinking coffee out of a Ziploc bag, all right? We need a coffee cup over here. So the official Car Connection coffee cup is up there. We have zipped hoodies, pullover hoodies, long sleeve shirts. We added a new hat. It's black and goldy yellow, which has been our colors for a long time. We've got knitted toques. They look amazing in all different colors as well. There's T-shirts, you name it, it's there. We're going to add some more things in the spring, some spring wear. There's ladies' shirts, men's shirts, long shirts. And when you purchase an item, you pick your color, your size, you pay for it safely online. It gets sent directly to your door through Freedom Expressions. That is one of the businesses they have running on the Total Freedom campus in Darien Center, New York. And that's a campus that's open to Canadian residents as well. They have a men-only campus out in Sydney, Manitoba. That's with Rick and Robin, facilitators there. They're addiction campuses. So no matter what age, how old you are, how, young, adult, youth, single mom, whatever your circumstance, those campuses are there to help you to get that new life, to get a new life. It's there. So proceeds from the merchandise goes to Total Freedom Canada and USA to help those who can't help themselves to get there. When they make that decision, if we're working together, we can get them there. They don't turn anyone down. They don't get any government funding whatsoever. They're self-sufficient. That's why they've set up businesses on the campus in Darien Center. They have an automotive shop there, Freedom Automotive. They have a takeout window with their commercial kitchen. And all those monies go to help those that can't get on the campus because they live there. That's what happens. It's not a program. It's a heart and life change. If they stick with it, they'll come out the other side, and you know what? They'll know how to work. They'll know how to hold a job. They'll know how to pay rent. They'll know how to have a bank account. They integrate them through a process to get them from where they were to where they need to be to get back in the world. And it is just so heart-wrenching. So let's work together to do that. Fill your drawers with Car Connection merch and Motormouth merch, and know that you're helping Total Freedom Darien Center, New York, Canada, USA, to help those who are suffering with addiction. Because I was in a relationship with that, and it was awful. It was awful to watch. And, you get called every name under the sun. They don't see what they're doing because it's the addiction speaking. And it just, it was a good thing that just got totally destroyed because of an addiction. It happens. I've experienced it, and I've seen people's lives change there. So enough said on that. You take the time to go on our website, click on their logo, and you have a look. You have a look at what's going on there, and I'll tell you, unless you breathe on a mirror and there's no mist on there, it'll crack your heart when you see what they're doing there. Thank you to Crystal Ridge Dream Center, another faith-based nonprofit organization making it happener in the Niagara region, serving men, women, children, seniors, single moms, meals twice a week, Tuesday, Friday, and love, hope, and changing lives one at a time in the Niagara region. They're feeding over 200 plus people, picking up takeout meals on Tuesdays and Fridays. They have after-school programs, totally paid for the kids, tutoring, mentoring, music lessons, chocolate bingo. Sign me up. And the list goes on and on and on. And I'll tell you, the volunteers are so happy to be there. See how you fit. Maybe you can give once a month. Maybe you can donate some time. Maybe you can send over some gift cards because they take care of what we can't while we're working. All right, let's jump into this morning. I had another little tidbit after I got off the air yesterday, and we were talking about why short trips kill engines faster than high mileage. I just wanted to give you one little tidbit recipe of why the short trip vehicles kill engines. Because I talked about contamination in the oil, and that is unburnt fuel, carbon, and moisture. Moisture builds up in the oil pan, and that ain't good. So that's a combination. That's a recipe for disaster where all the internal workings are on your engine. Is the engine's not running hard, not like you guys out there running 35, 40K over the suggested speed limit, not like that. Moderation, you know what I mean? When you're losing weight and you're working on your physique so you can get into, your favorite kini or mankini coming this summer. Don't send pictures, please. You got to have a game plan and everything in moderation. So while you're doing that, you have to have what my dietitian taught me was you got to have one freedom day. But again, everything in moderation. And that's the thing, is that these vehicles that do short trips, they don't run long enough, hard enough to burn off all those things that I just talked about, contaminants in the oil. Unburnt fuel, which is NOx emissions. That's the big ticket item that we need to reduce. No fuel vapors escaping to the atmosphere. Yeah, but we have two big countries that poo-poo in the sky more than all of us around the entire planet. Do the math on that one. It's mind-numbing. Number 2, moisture. The oil warms up just enough to that it's warm like pudding, freshly made pudding that's been cooling for a while. So moisture condensation builds up on the bottom end of the motor. So the oil drops down and lays there, and then we have an air pocket above that, and there's now moisture building in there. So moisture is getting into the oil and corroding things in the workings of your engine. And then we have carbon. Because the vehicle's not running hard for extended periods of time, we're not burning off the carbon. So what do we have? We create an oil bath stew that is acidic, and then it begins to eat the engine from the inside. And that's where things like bearings, connecting rod bearings, crankshaft bearings, main journal bearings start to etch and wear away regardless of mileage. That's why short trip vehicles that are just, in around town, sit in the garage for the most time, that doesn't save a vehicle, actually rots it right out. Unless you're parking that vehicle in a thermatically controlled area, rust begins. If it's not moisture free where you're parking it in your garage, rust begins. And here's when rust begins. 40 degrees Fahrenheit with moisture in the air. That's the recipe for rust. So that kills the body on these short trip vehicles. Although they look great from the top down. And a great example is the Nissan Rogue that was donated to us. Thank you to Sandra, longtime listener of Car Connection Radio, sent it down to us back in September to look it over against the inspection it already had at a shop in the Hamilton area. And that car sat for about 11 months. And so you can go to our YouTube channel and actually see what we documented on that. There's quite a number of videos there doing different checkovers, inspections, and showing you what's going on, why it's going on. So all our YouTube videos will teach you what it is, where it is, how it works, how it breaks, and what could you learn from the basic fundamentals of vehicle ownership to avoid those things from happening. So that vehicle, that 08 Rogue, is now, I worked hard on it, and we used it as an example to create some videos so you can learn from that. And that's one of the videos where we did brake nationals all summer. That one was the last one, the 08 Rogue, and it was a brake system, emergency brake system disaster from sitting. There was nothing salvageable in the emergency brake system. It was done, and that was a big job. It was a lot of work. Then there were a lot of scabs underneath, rusty crusties that I had to bang all the heavy rust off so we could give it a really good coat of corrosion-free underneath and slow the rusties right down. If that vehicle had sat for another 6 months, it would have been over at the back of the vehicle. There would have been some heavy-duty rust that was not good. Not good. So that's why I just wanted to touch on that just a little bit more, because that's what it means. And we have some fleet vehicles that we put together over the years, and those, every single one, even though they're in storage, they got to be gone over before they go out on the road to fundraising events and local cruise events to get, be out there meeting and greeting the people, seeing the kids' faces light up, and we let them get in with their parents and have their picture taken, and they can tell their friends that they own it, and we'll hand them the keys. It's really good. We have a lot of fun with them. They're not toys, they're tools. But they need a lot of work all the time. So, come May, when we got to start bringing them out, we have to get them ready. That means clean them up, make sure everything is as it should be, go over everything on the vehicle, because when they sit, they build problems. So that's where I wanted to wrap that up this morning with just a little bit more. Is contaminated engine oil will kill that engine in no time flat. So lower the mileage, and I talked about it yesterday. I had received a vehicle from someone, again, donated. It was parked for years, and it was always short-tripped. It had very little mileage on it. I cleaned it out, cleaned it completely inside and out, did all the mechanicals, and I sold it to a chap who was going to be commuting from Hamilton to Toronto every day. 6 months later, the motor it developed a knock, and it was over. And the reason it was over was that acidic oil being in that car for so long ate the bearings that I just talked about, connecting rods, crankshaft, main journal bearings. It eats them. It's acid. And the babbitt on the bearings just gets licked right off. And when that happens, tolerances are wider and things come apart. So that's the short story. So I wanted to get that in there this morning. So we're talking about dealer maintenance schedules and helpful or overkill. Well, it's a love-hate relationship when it comes to maintenance schedules. And I've been talking about that and fleet maintenance and how that all ties in together. Is all the years working on hundreds and hundreds of vehicles in huge fleets, working along the fleet manager himself to get all the maintenances done. And they got to track every single unit that they have in their fleet. That's what the fleet manager does. And those vehicles, we'd have to go pick them up, bring them down to the shop, and go over the whole thing. And don't miss a single thing, because that makes the difference between getting the tender next time when the tender comes up or not. And I'm grateful that I worked in a shop where the owner was a military mechanic. He was hard to work for, but when we played, he'd always say, when we works hard. When we plays, we have fun. And he was a very good teacher. And so we learned discipline to make sure that we never missed anything. And that's how I created the Car Connection Maintenance Schedule Kit, to help my customers on the Hamilton Mountain to stay on track with their vehicle maintenance. And you can simply track it on your own. All age groups, folks. There's 3 lines to the instructions, fellas. 3. And then you get different methods of posting it up, and it's laminated. You even get a dry erase marker with a clippy thing, so you don't have to go looking for something, and you grab a Sharpie and you put marks on there and they don't come up. So I send you not a Sharpie, but a dry erase marker. And so you get stickies and magnets. You post it up. It has a checklist, and you go through that checklist and get everything done from top to bottom. When you get to the bottom, you erase it off, and you start it back at the top. It's not rocket science. Now, when we take a look at the dealers, I'm not picking on the dealers, so, hey, don't send me any hate mail or, a dead rat or anything like that. Leave the rodents alone. They have a purpose. Sometimes. Squirrels. Squirrel! The dealer maintenance schedules. I'm gonna give you a really big ace card right out of the gate. Okay. When I closed my shop in 2001, due to health reasons, I'm okay now. Sort of, kind of, maybe. I have to watch myself. I push myself too hard. But you know what? That's just the way I'm wired. Grew up working on farms and fruit farms and stuff. You work hard. And you have fun. So I got to know my factory rep. I got snatched up by a European car company to come take care of a dealership, get it sorted out because they were going to lose their license because they weren't playing right. Things weren't running right. And I never set foot in a dealership all of my trade. Not at all, ever. So this was going to be an amazing experience that I could share with you. So it was like going in as a mole. Yeah, mole. Moly. Yeah, going in as a mole. And I learned a lot. And I developed a very good relationship with my manufacturer's representative. He was German. I am English. Yeah, I was born in England. Oldham, Lancashire, to be in fact correct on that. In fact, I just found my birth certificate. It's like a 4x8 sheet. Stinking huge. Just going through a toter in my office, the last one, and I found it. And I had to send to England for it. It's huge. Yeah. So we got talking one day, and we developed a really good relationship. And here's what he said to me. I can't take him off too well without laughing. He was from Bavaria. Very nice man. Very nice man. And he trusted me because I'm a service tech and longtime business owner. And we're trying to get this place turned around. And we did. We did get it turned around in 18 months. And it was fantastic. Fantastic group of people I got to work with. Only had to say goodbye to one person that wasn't willing to be part of the team. There's no I in team, but there's a me. And that's how he looked at it. And I said, you have to go home now. So anyhow, in a conversation about maintenance, my manufacturer's representative says to me, well, you know, Niall, it is not, the maintenance guide is just a suggestion. It's not the Bible. It's not written in stone. I go, oh, so what are you saying? He goes, the maintenance items on the maintenances are just a suggestion. So there you have it. Right from a manufacturer, European manufacturer rep. And they're very, I'll tell you, they were sticklers, boy. Let me tell you. We didn't mess with anything. It was their way or the highway. But I was shocked when I heard that. So here's the thing. I have a neighbor that has a very expensive European car, and he freaks out. I mean, and he's done well. He's in his life. Money's not really a problem, but it's a problem, he says, when it comes to these maintenance schedules. He says, $800? He goes, I'm going in for an oil change, and it's going to cost me $800 because they're doing some kind of inspections. Well, here's what I suggest. Now, knowing what I know, that the maintenance schedules from the factory are only suggestions. Here's what I do. For all the makes and models, I take a look at what they're doing on the maintenance schedule that you're due for. So whether it's 8, 16, 24, 32, 56, 64K services, and I look to see what are some of the items they're checking. Because what that tells me as a tech is if I see the same items coming up in each one of those maintenance schedules that they're just checking, those may be the items that the factory knows they have issues with, so they're keeping an eye on those things. Just like a great example is the 2008 Nissan Rogue that was donated. Now we rescued it. It's back to life. There's a couple things to do yet. A door hinge, the shifter thingy is automatic shifter knob, kind of rotates counterclockwise and clockwise or something in there. I know what it is. I got to try and explain that to the dealer so I can get the pieces, parts to fix that. I've never had to experience that before. It has areas that are prone for rust, and I see a little surface rust there now, so we're on that. The big thing is the CVT transmission sucks with a big K and a large S. You got to know, don't be towing with it. Don't be driving the living daylights out of it. And change the transmission oil with the factory oil, not something from a parts jobber, with the factory transmission oil every 30,000 miles. and shut the front door. Get it done. Then your CVT is going to go, I like you. Kind of like this guy. Yeah, you got to stay on top of it. So those are the shortfalls I found. I wrote them down. I go, we need to pay attention to these things if we want to now take this thing to the next level, and that is get some ROI on all the parts we threw at it that it had to have. We didn't get out the parts can, and we knew exactly what we were doing. So with that, you can use the dealer maintenance schedules to look it over and see where I see check and inspect and things like that. They charge you for that. So, like, check glove box. Okay. Door's closed. Oh, but if the tech grabs the handle and lets that thing lower down and closes it, that's probably just cost you $30. That stuff bugs me. It's like, come on. Even when we were doing fleet maintenance, we're checking stuff. We check when that vehicle ends up in your stall. Your deal is you inspect it. It's your checklist, and if you miss something, it's coming back to you. You're the guy, not the man. You're the guy that it's going to come back to. And there's going to be a what for and how to, let me tell you. Yeah. So here's where I see that stuff, and you're paying for it. Check, look, it's visual, right? I go down the checklist, and I see everything in each maintenance, and I know what ones are visual, which ones are hands-on. I don't like the idea that we're billing the customer through the teeth for the looky-see, I spy, I call it. That's what my boss used to say. Do an I spy on that and be thorough. That meant don't miss anything, because then we get in trouble. So when I see things like check this, check that, check this, they're billing for doing nothing but look. Just look. That's it. Like a little dog, like a Jack Russell Terrier in a bounce house filled with balls. He's looking all over, like 360. His head's rotating like Linda Blair in The Exorcist. I just gave my age away, maybe. But anyways, that's the stuff that ticks me off. The ticks in the tech box, they're billing you for that. If they're doing something hands-on, that's different. But in my opinion, a lot of that stuff, I would not bill my customer for and never did. While an oil change going on, I would do a complete look around on the vehicle, looky-see, checking over, do a show and tell, make sure I don't miss something that could put them on the side of the highway or bring their vehicle in on a flatbed. That was embarrassing. So that's what our goal was. We had a comeback rate of less than 1%. And that doesn't come by as a gift. You got to work on it, and you got to make sure you cover your customer's vehicle. So when I'm checking stuff, check wiper blades, check lights, check tire pressures, check, driver's door handle, indoor handle, blah, blah, blah. When I see all that stuff, I'm like, come on, that's nickel and diming the customer. So that's where that's what I don't like. Let's get into the meat and the potatoes of fleet vehicle maintenance. The check things, you can do that as you're going around the vehicle and working on other pieces of the vehicle, and not, hitting the customer for every little looky-see. Oh, I touched the lid of the glove box. 0.1 per hour. That's the stuff. No. Times no, divided by no, plus no is no all day long. So I say that to say this. They say you have to do the factory maintenance schedules at the dealer or you have no warranty. I did a lot of dealer services at my shop and filled out their book, gave them a copy of their bill so that it was all on there. that the vehicle was serviced as per the manufacturer's outlined maintenance schedule for the mileage it is currently at. So I made sure I covered my customers' butts and that all the information was properly recorded, because I did warranty work as well at the dealer, and it's dot the I's, cross the T's, or your claim gets bounced back. You have to be thorough. So I totally know and understand the paperwork and documentation at dealer level. It was 4.5 years of hell, working 80 plus hours a week, but going in I was willing to go in as a mole to learn the politics and stuff and goings on behind the curtain at a dealership. And I learned a lot. And there's stuff that I will never speak of, because then I would probably get a dead rat or, a chocolate X-Lax pan of brownies. And I don't want that. No, we don't do that stuff. So I'm not here to hurt people. I'm here to teach you what I know I just calculated it out yesterday. Long time. 50 years. 50. I've been around the automotive business 50 years. Been licensed since 1988. My license, I just got the bill today. Thanks. Yeah, I got to pay for my licenses again, so they're due. And never stop learning, folks. Never stop learning. Read everything so you don't miss anything. So that's what I want to wrap up with the dealer maintenance schedules is a lot of shops that are organized can do your dealer maintenance schedules, record it properly, and make sure that all your documentation's filled out. The book in the glove box gets filled out and stamped. You don't have to go to the dealer. That's as long as all that information is recorded properly, that on the work order performed, dealer manufacturer maintenance according to blah blah blah, and that's all on the RO, the repair order. The mileage is recorded in your book. It's stamped, it's dated, and then I would always put an invoice reference number right in the book as well. So if there's anybody who's saying, "Oh, your warranty's void," "Oh, it's void," no, it's not. Sorry, buddy. Try again. Door number 2 in the rice-a-roni for the rest of your life. Yeah. No, it's not. It's like the manufacturer's saying, "Well, you had your vehicle rust-proof. The warranty's void." No, it's not. Annual rust-proofing will not void your factory warranty. Yeah. So I'm your man. When it comes to that stuff, I know every dot, every I, every tittle. When it comes to working behind the curtain in a dealership. And I had 27 adult children to take care of. And we were good. We had a good crew. And I miss them. Because we worked our butts off to go from number 12 at the bottom. That doesn't mean you're number 1. We were number 12 in a district of 12 dealerships about to lose its license, and in 18 months working together as a team with the vision being the customer, to service the customer. That's why we're all there. We went number 1 in Ontario and Canada for parts and service, and we got all kinds of accolades. The VIP box at Toronto Maple Leafs, it was crazy. We got all kinds of gifts for doing so, and we were a great team. We did pool parties at so-and-so's house and so-and-so's house, and went out and watched the movies together. We were a team. And, new owners came in, and that just blew it all to hell in a handbasket. But, yeah, it was awful. It was awful. I was one of, I think, the first ones to go. Yeah, they told me I didn't know what I was doing. Yet I had all these awards. We had all these awards. I had awards and everything right from the factory, but I didn't know what I was doing. We turned the dealer from number 12 to number 1. And I just said, okay, I'm ready to go anyway. 82 hours a week total every week, no holidays, no sick days. Couldn't even escape for lunch. I made them too much money. So anyways, I know a dealer inside and out, dealerships, and they all run pretty much the same. Yeah, pretty much the same. They're all departments. There's mothership, which is the dealer. Then there's the F&I department where they sell you stuff you don't really need, like fabric protection. Go buy yourself a $23 can of Scotch Guard by 3M. There you go. Do it yourself. $23. Might be 30 now, but it's not like $300. And then paint protection. Don't go there. The electronic rust buster. No, got one down in the shop there. We call it the Rust Buster 2000. Yeah. So that's that department. Sell you stuff you really don't need. The cleanup department, that's the detailing department. Then you have the service department. Then you have the parts department. Then you have the sales. There's new car sales, used car sales. They're all separate businesses working under mothership. That's how it works. Yeah. So I think we'll clean it up there and wrap it up there. Coming up tomorrow morning, I hope you'll come back and join us again. And we want to thank our certified financial planning professionals for sure, Tony Mielli and Larry Tetro, helping you get answers to your questions. That's what they're there for. I've worked with these guys for 20 years. They are myself and some of my personal friends, financial planners, and they've helped them to make money once they got their investments out of the bank. Yeah, they're making good money, and they're happy. They're like, Motormouth, I freaking love you, buddy. Do not hug me. Yeah. And so, get your questions answered by those who have the fruit on the tree, period. It's what I can't say it any plainer. If you got an investment portfolio with the bank, you need to get some questions answered, my friends. If you're into debt up your eyeball and you're having intense moments of fellowship with your wife, because if mama ain't happy, the whole house ain't happy. She's the thermostat, man. She's the thermostat. You got to get that under control. And, if you think it's not, you just can't do it. Yeah, there are ways. There are ways. Estate planning. You got kids, you got a house, you got a car, you got a checkbook. I'm speaking to the young generation. Yeah, we don't get out of this thing called life without death. Yeah, you don't get out of it alive. That's right. And you have to think about that and plan for that. We don't all plan to die, but it's going to happen at some point. That's what the young generation, moms and dads, grandparents, whoever's listening, you got to help them to learn this, because I've heard that so many times. Well, I don't plan on dying. Well, what are you going to do? Get an estate plan and powers of attorney when you're already gone? Come on. That's all got to be taken care of. All age groups. Estate planning, powers of attorney, you do not do it yourself. The fellas take care of that. Setting up a mortgage, I haven't had a mortgage with a bank for almost 20 years. I'm done with the banks. They don't treat you right. Especially when you're self-employed, you're like dirt, dog poopy. In fact, I had a bank manager look at me and say, Niall, I hate small business. See ya. And I did. I got out of there, went back to the credit union. They treat you like people there. And more. There's so much available to you through Tony Mielli and Larry Tetro. You'll love them. Pick who you want to work with. Book that hour and a coffee complimentary discovery meeting at home, by Zoom, in person, whatever you're comfortable with, but connect. Connect with them. They're not selling you anything, and they do not need any more clients. They've been in the biz combined 50 years. They know what they're doing. They absolutely do. They're two of the best decorated CFPs in Canada, but you'll never hear them say that. Connect with them. City Auto Sales and Leasing. You shopping for cars? We can help you. Prevent from buying somebody else's junk and taking it home and having to fix it. City Auto Sales and Leasing. Low mileage, quality vehicles at fair prices. That's how they've earned the title Greater Toronto Area's premier pre-owned auto store. Check in with Earl and Louise Grant, husband and wife team. Amazing people to deal with. They are car people. They love what they do. They do in-house financing and leasing. Check in with them. They got a good inventory inside and outside. But if they don't have what you're looking for, let them do the legwork. They have the resources. Let them take care of that. They're not going to sell you any junk. Thank you to Rainbow Motors and Garage up in Scarborough. Rita and Ramiz Shanuda are the brothers up there. They have a small car lot as well. Again, they're not going to sell you any junk. Some of their vehicles they sell, you can get an extended warranty package with that as well if you need that sense of security. Sales and service you can trust to all years, makes, and models, including light commercial vehicles. That's Rainbow Motors and Garage, been a part of Car Connection for decades, and we love those guys up there. They take care of our peeps very, very well. Trust. That's it. Sales and service you can trust. So till tomorrow, what are we talking about tomorrow? Well, we'll prep the pump or prime the pump or poke you in the eye, one or the other, and wake you up. How to make any vehicle last 300K, the 400K club, and the 600K club. I don't have a vehicle yet, the 600K. I'm pushing for 400K on the 07 FJ Cruiser. I was out in the snow yesterday. What a beast. We got into some road drifts and stuff out in the Stevensville area, and it was fun. Yeah, there was nobody else on the road. I was smashing drifts. That thing is a beast in four-wheel drive, but you got to keep it on the road. There was a moment there, but we handled it. We handled it very well. So drive according to road conditions. Keep an eye on the weather pattern, because yesterday we had a streamer come out of nowhere late afternoon that put down like 2.5 inches of snow in like half an hour. And it was almost zero visibility. I just backed in. I went to do a service call, put a battery back in a single mom's van, everything cool, shoveled out her driveway to get the van out, turned it around, got it out of the wind, parked it, and all was good. I just backed into the driveway here at the studio, and I'm like, where did that come from? And now I got all the gear to unload. I'm like, cheapers, man. That part stinks. But anyways, we got it looked after. So be safe. Keep it under 100. Watch out for the other guy. And remember, happy, healthy motoring. Peace, patience, kindness always. We'll see you tomorrow morning for more of the Motormouth Morning Drive.